Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Transformers unboxing slash review. Today we are doing the Evasion Mode Optimus Prime. This is the Hasbro version, and let's just take a quick look at the box real quick. You see the Transformers logo. There's a continuation of Optimus Prime on both these sides. As you can tell, the painting is different. This is the movie accurate art. This is more of a sort of a G1 expired, not expired, but inspired look. Transformers Generation Voyager Class Series M4, and that's the first figure in that line. As you can see, there's a flat nose G1 paint style, and also available the Voyager Class Grimlock. Comes with the ion cannon. I'll talk about that later. And then a little Autobot logo on the bottom. There's just some information. Authentic Transformers figure. Obviously, it's authentic. If it wasn't, that'd be sort of weird. Never seen a not authentic Transformers figure. I don't know if that's the correct way of saying it, but slice this right open. I'm doing what all collectors hate, taking the figure out of the box. I personally like to display my figures. Oh, there we go. That worked out. Here's his ion cannon. And here's the missile. Let's take a look real quick at this weapon. This weapon, if you remember at the end of the third Transformers movie, Optimus kills Megatron and uses Megatron's gun to blow his head off. Sorry if I spoiled it for anybody, but seriously, if you're watching this video, or, even if you're not into Transformers, you should know that that movie came out, like, 4 years ago. So, you should have caught up by now. But, yeah, it's pretty cool how Optimus kept it, and it's concluded with him. And if you have the Dark on the Moon Voyager class figure, there's a little nub right here, and it'll actually fit into, not Optimus, but Megatron's hand. This is where Optimus holds the gun, so it sort of gives it a weird look. I'll show you guys that later. And the gimmick for this one is if you pull the trigger, it will shoot the missile. So, let's move on to the actual figure itself. There was some pretty good molding on that weapon. It just doesn't really match with Optimus because the weapon's not made for him. So, yeah. So I may look into getting the Dark on the Moon Voyager class figure and display it with Megatron. Okay, well, it just sort of plopped out there. Now, if you're familiar with the look from the past two movies, the action figures, you will notice that this look does look pretty familiar. The feet look, almost identical. Just this whole mode looks pretty familiar. You got the tires on the hips, you got the tires on the legs, even his face mold. His face mold's very good in this mode. Better than the leader class Optimus. You got some really good detail in there, and you do have some light piping there. That way his eyes will glow, but his eyes are just sort of see-through. I guess you could paint those blue if you wanted to. It does sort of look like he has pupils, but they're not colored. So the painting, some people have an issue with the painting. His upper arms are blue, and as you'll see on this figure, his upper arms are red and gray, and it's a lighter shade of gray. And some people didn't like that. I personally don't have an issue with either one. I actually like this painting better. Chest mold is okay. Got some okay detail there. Overall, this is a really good looking figure, probably one of the better looking Voyager figures that have come out to date. Not overall, but just for this movie. Well, that's about it for this figure other than the joints. This is a slight ratchet joint. You can't really hear it. And then it's sort of a ball joint everywhere else. So you get good posability with his legs. And so the in and out's a ratchet joint. The rest of it's just sort of a back and forth. His knee joint is just back and forth. No real flexibility there, just back and forth. Then, okay, well, I guess this is for the transformation. His shin has flexibility. That'd be bad if, you know, you're a person and you had that. His foot has just a little flexibility, both of them. In his ankle, that's also for the transformation. Around his waist, he also has posability in his... and it's weird here, I've heard a lot of people talk about this. His elbow joint isn't at the elbow. A lot of people are having issues with that. And a lot of people are having issues with his joint being weak here. So like when you try to put the gun in there, his arm will like flip down. And no wrist posability, because he needs to hold that gun, I guess. His head, if you keep it back where it comes in the box, there's not real much posability, but if you bring it forwards, then you do have some rotation back and forth. So always remember to bring that head forwards, but since we're about to do the transformation, I'll go ahead and pop it back into place. And that's about it for this figure, with the joints and everything. With the tires, you do get some in and out rotation, that way you can do some leg bends with Optimus, I guess. Do some like helicopter kicks. I don't know. But I'll join you guys after I've done the transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are back, and we have successfully transformed Optimus into his flat-nose Marmon 97 truck mode. I would say it is the Marmon 97, but actually I do believe it's just a flat-nose truck, painted up to look like the G1 flat-nose truck. This figure was pretty tricky to transform, but that's a good thing, because it pleases collectors. And I sort of do wish they had gone with a more movie-accurate paint and then released this figure, because I would have enjoyed having a movie-accurate paint. This trailer was sort of a pain to get together, because it had a hard time staying tabbed, but I finally got to stay tabbed. And also the instructions, I really don't like Hasbro's instructions, because they're not the clearest on how to transform everything. But overall, this is a really neat figure. Nice Autobot logos right there. I like how they went with a silver paint, not a chrome paint like they did with everything else. It just makes it look silly. And as for weapon storage, there's nowhere really to put this weapon to make it look not just completely ridiculous. I accidentally triggered the missile just then. It just looks ridiculous up here. I'm sorry, but when I'm storing it, I'm not storing it like this. Taking the weapon off, and leaving it off. That's how I store most of my vehicles, if I leave it in vehicle mode. And this truck has a really nice, this figure has a really nice vehicle mode. It also has a really nice robot mode. But this is really G1 reminiscent, and being a fan of the G1 series, I may just end up storing it like this. I don't know. I may end up storing it in its robot mode and then keeping leader class Optimus Prime in his vehicle mode, because the vehicle mode of leader class Optimus Prime looks better than his robot mode, in my opinion. The backpack and the paint and everything just sort of looks silly. But that's that figure. But for size comparison, let me bring in Deluxe class Crosshairs. Now this doesn't really match up. This is a Deluxe class figure. This is a Voyager. I don't know. It's a little small, I would guess. But everything compared to the Voyager class Grimlock and the Voyager class Galvatron is going to seem small. And let's bring in this big guy, Leader Class Optimus Prime. So yeah, kind of small. Crosshairs and Leader Class Optimus Prime sort of have a good size comparison, but I don't know. It's a little small for a truck. But when you transform these, this guy will end up being bigger. And well, that's about it. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. And also make sure to check out my other videos. And that's about it. Thanks for watching.